Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to this pep talk this afternoon. Please mute yourself, but always show your video picture. Sign in your name, your Facebook account, or email address in the chat box. Please include the names of companions attending with you. Use the chat box to ask questions and make comments while the pep talk is on. There'll be group pictures at the start and end of the pep talk, so please show your faces in the video during the group pictures. Another reminder, please take the online, after the pep talk, please take the online learning com evaluation test exercise for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like the one shown here. I have placed the link in the chat box. Another reminder, obtaining 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a RO Hoson medical consultation, either face-to-face or telemedical. Feedback to this pep talk, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. So, okay, before we start the pep talk proper, let's have a group picture taken first. Okay, please turn on your video now. Show your faces. Get set. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I have a patient empowerment program in which I like to empower the lay people or patients to take control in the management of their health. I started the pep talk in May 15, 2021 during the COVID-19 pandemic. There were 3 courses in the pep talk. I completed the core course on October 9, 2021. Then from October 23, 2021 onwards, I've been tackling health disorder and health issue courses. May 17, 2025, this year marks the start of year 5 of the RO Hoson Pep Talk. How long the Pep Talk will last will depend on our enthusiasm, discipline, and perseverance. My Pep Talk today is entitled Breast Cancer Surveillance After a Definitive Treatment. The empowerment objective is for the lay people to have an essential understanding on breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment as part of their health management. The contents of this afternoon's pep talk will be the following. What is cancer surveillance after definitive treatment? And what is a cancer surveillance? So the first statement is cancer in general, cancer surveillance. And then the second statement is referring to breast cancer itself. Okay. How is breast cancer surveillance being done after a definitive treatment? And why is breast cancer surveillance after a definitive treatment a must do and how long? So, bakit kailangan gawin at gaano katagal? And what are the approaches and guides in the breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment? Okay. So in other words, cancer surveillance is parang mga check-up, follow-up after treatment. Disclaimer, this RO Hoson Pep Talk contains my thoughts, perceptions, opinions, and recommendations, or TPORs, called from personal experiences as well as from readings of the writings of other professionals. Let's start with the first topic. What is cancer surveillance after definitive treatment? Okay. Cancer in general, di pa yung breast cancer. Okay. So lahat ng cancer may tinatawag na cancer surveillance after definitive treatment. Surveillance per se, yung generic name word means a close watch, okay, close observation, close monitoring. Now, surveillance in medicine means a close watch, observation, monitoring, or any event related to medicine. So you can have surveillance for diseases other than cancer. Okay, so in medicine, pwedeng cancer or not cancer. Now, for cancer surveillance naman, it's a close watch, observation, and monitoring of any event related to cancer. So kung ang pinag-usapan ay may cancer isang pasyente at sinusurveillance, we call that cancer surveillance. Now, surveillance in medicine, as I said, can either be for cancer and not cancer. Okay? So yung mga, sabihin natin, yung mga walang cancer, may sakit sa, let's say, isang sakit na hindi naman cancer pero kailangan i-follow up, i-check up for about 3 years, kung minsan lifetime. No? Okay. Now, what is cancer surveillance on a patient? Means a close watch, observation, close monitoring in a cancer patient during treatment and after treatment for the following reasons. Okay. Response to treatment, behavior or course without active cancer treatment procedure, remissions, during remission, and then recurrence. So when you say cancer surveillance on a cancer patient, it's usually used in the context of close and continuous monitoring, observation, and monitoring for recurrence after a definitive cancer treatment. So ito yung pinaka-commonly used meaning ng cancer surveillance in a cancer patients. Monitor natin for recurrence after a definitive treatment. Okay. So what do we mean by cancer definitive treatment? So it just means that the primary treatment chosen to provide a high chance of cure or with intent to cure, especially done in which all the clinically evident cancers are completely resolved, annihilated, or removed. Okay. So yan ang tinatawag na cancer definitive treatment. Okay. Pero may mga treatment na ginagawa not for the yung mga hindi for complete removal, intent of cure, then ang tawag doon, cancer palliative treatment. Okay? So treatment not done for complete resolution of all clinically evident cancer is not cancer definitive treatment. This is usually called cancer palliative treatment. Okay, so we will use these two terms differently. Cancer definitive treatment, okay, after the treatment is, the goal of the treatment is to provide a high chance for cure. Okay, then after that, surveillance. Okay, now for those, meron din surveillance for those cancer in which there's no high chance for cure. Now, after a cancer palliative treatment, observe pa rin natin. Na? Okay, but usually, cancer surveillance is being used for this one, for this group of patients. Yung mga merong cancer na gamot at malaking chance ng cure, monitor lang kung may umulit, kung may umulit at pwede pang may magawa ng paraan para to control. Okay? So cancer surveillance is usually used in this setting of a cancer definitive treatment and not in cancer palliative treatment. Although loosely speaking, pwedeng gamitin the cancer surveillance in all forms of in all stages of cancer treatment, all types, no? Pero usually, pag ginamit natin the word the phrase cancer surveillance, it's usually used in the setting of after a definitive treatment. There's a magandang chances of cure, no? And then after that, monitor, no? So to repeat, cancer surveillance after definitive treatment means a close watch, close monitoring, close observation. This is in the forms of follow-up, okay, for cancer recurrence after a definitive treatment. So now when we talk about breast cancer surveillance naman, it's the same concept as the surveillance for cancer, but this one is more specific now. It's referring to breast cancer. Okay? So surveillance in breast cancer patients after definitive treatment is just defined as close watch, observation, monitoring for breast cancer recurrence after a definitive treatment. So a patient with breast cancer after definitive treatment, no, nag-undergo ng cancer surveillance, it means binabantayan, pina-follow up for possible recurrence. Kung walang recurrence, well and good. Kung may recurrence, baka meron pang may magawa pa to control the recurrence. So why is a breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment a must do, kailangan gawin, and how long? Okay. There is always a possibility of breast cancer recurrence even after a definitive treatment. This is actually true for all kinds of cancer, not only breast cancer. Okay. So no doctor will guarantee a cure that the cancer will not recur. Walang doctor guarantee ng cure. The cancer can occur at any time and as long as the patient is alive. We don't know kung kailan babalik, o kung babalik man, kailan babalik. The objective of the cancer surveillance is to catch the cancer recurrence early enough, and if it recurs, to remedy it as soon as possible, and if still possible, okay, so best effort na lang. Kung umulit, no, kailangan i-control kung pwede. No? Okay. So that's breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment is a must-do, and it is a lifetime affair because the cancer can recur anytime, okay, for as long as patient is alive. Kaya lifetime ang check-up. No? So the breast cancer surveillance can be done with close, meaning continuous and regular watch, observation, and monitoring of the following. Number one, symptoms of the patients, meaning what the patients feel and how they observe on their own their mga nangyayari sa katawan. And then signs from physical exam of the physicians, particularly cancer specialists. So symptoms, then signs. Signs are from the doctor, symptoms are from the patients. And then pwedeng gamitin ng laboratory diagnostic tests or procedures. Okay. So the question is, kailangan bang tatlong gawin? 1, 2, 3, or just 1 and 2, or three lang, or just number 2, etc. Okay. So these are various approaches. So what approaches and guides in breast cancer surveillance after a definitive treatment? So they're so-called minimalist approach. To minimalist, usually 1 and 2 lang, and then do number 3, laboratory test as indicated kung kailangan lang. Okay. Now, maximalist approach will be doing everything, tatlo. Now, 1, 2, 3, all at once in one sitting. Ritualistic approach, usually number 3 lang only. Okay. Ito usually because of the fad, palaging uso yung laboratory test, gano'n. No? So usually yung ritualistic, pangatlo lang. No? Okay. So my recommendations is the minimalist approach, number 1, number 2, and then do number 3 only as indicated. Okay. So hindi maximalist. Okay. So first must do, from my opinion, okay, so we have to emphasize to the lay people and patients on using the symptoms, meaning what they felt and observed, as the first step in the breast cancer surveillance, and not to rely solely on physicians' examinations and diagnostic tests. So this is the number 2 approach, number 3 approach. So kailangan unahin muna yung nararamdaman, na-feel ng pasyente, na-observe. No? Kadalasan, hindi ginagawa to, nag-jump na kagad sa diagnostic test. No? Kumisan, pupunta sa doktor. No? Pero kadalasan, they go on their own, have a diagnostic test. Okay? So mali yun. No? So importante, mauna muna yung symptoms. Okay? Then, number 2 is to educate the patients on what alert symptoms of breast cancer recurrence to watch, observe, and monitor. Okay. So, in-emphasize natin importante yung symptoms that the patient should first observe, and feel. Pero in the process of trying to emphasize this importance, there must be an education or to teach them, empower them on how to recognize yung mga alert symptoms, no, which I may discuss later on. Okay. So in breast cancer patients, ito yung hahanapin, ito yung mga alert symptoms. No? Feel and observe for the following common alert symptoms. Maraming alert symptoms pero ito yung pinaka-common ones. Okay? And mass on the operated side. So let's say kung sa right breast na operahan, okay, sa right breast, kung may bukol, no, it could be a sign of possible recurrence. Okay? The side, a mass on the other side of on the other breast, pwede din cancer recurrence. No? So, so you alert one, the first alert sign that they will observe is kung kinakapa yung breast nila, sarili nila, look for a bukol, no? Mass. And number two, in terms of symptoms, anong nararamdaman, protracted headache, kung masakit ang ito yung susunod, headache, calf, bone, and abdominal pain. Ito yung mga more common sites of recurrence, yung sa malalayo. Yung una, doon sa local, sa dibdib lang, sa breast, no? Pero itong headache, calf, bones, abdominal pain, yung sa labas ng breast, sa chest, lahat sa labas ng chest, no? Okay. So, pwedeng mag-metastasize yung cancer ng breast cancer or may recur in the brain. Kaya ang pinaka-common symptoms is headache, no? So we have to qualify kung anong klaseng headache, no? The only clue that we can have to suspect breast cancer recurrence in the brain is yung matagalan na sakit ng ulo. Kasi kadalasan we have short-term na tension headache, stress headache, migraine. So pag protracted yung headache, let's say 1 month, 2 months, hindi nawawala despite all the medications, painkiller, no, we suspect the brain cancer recurrence. So we just have to do a CT scan of the brain. The other symptoms will be protracted cough. Yung inuubo ng matagalan, hindi yung 1 week, 3 days, baka flu lang yon, no? Pero kung 1 month, 2 months inuubo, we have to suspect baka meron siyang spread to the lungs. Okay? Cough. No? Ito yung pinaka-common presenting symptoms. Okay? Then protracted bone pain, sakit sa buto. Again, we have to distinguish this from arthritis or yung mga trauma to the bone, no? Pag matagalan, protracted, mga 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, hindi nawawala at na lumalala, I mean, nagiging more intense, no? Okay. And palaging nasa isang lugar, no? Then we suspect possible recurrence or spread to the bone. So in which case, we may have to do some tests like bone stand. Kung wala, we don't do anything. Okay? Protracted abdominal pain, right, especially the right upper side kasi andun yung liver. Okay? Okay? The more common metastasis of the breast cancer to the abdomen is to the liver. No? Kaya pag sumasakit yung at sa kanan part of the abdomen, is signify the andun yung liver kasi baka meron siyang liver cancer recurrence. No? Okay. Pero lalo na kung may naninilaw ang mata, then we suspect recurrence or spread to the liver. So a lot of patients are not doing this self-monitoring regularly, monthly at least, and for life, and have not been taught by physicians. Yan din nila nagagawa kasi hindi natuturuan. No? So I have yet to see a common write-up on this that we have to teach the patients on what to monitor. So ito, tinuturo ko sa inyo, you must monitor the symptoms ng number one, yung symptoms na headache, bone pain, abdominal pain, and cough. No? The other one is kakapain, no? Yung sa breast. No? Okay. So gagawin lang yon at least once a month, no? Or kahit every day, monitor lang yung sarili ninyo. No? Okay. Just try to feel. Number two must do in the surveillance for breast cancer in my minimalist approach will be to see and consult a physician, especially a breast cancer specialist, for regular assessment and evaluation or check-up or follow-up at planned intervals as recommended by the breast cancer specialist. Kung walang findings sa breast self-examination, breast self-monitoring by the patient, walang symptoms, pwedeng once a year ito, pero depende kung after when the patient was operated on. Pero kung matagal na, usually once a year pwede, minimum, no? Okay. Pero kung kaka-opera pa lang, kung minsan every 2 months, every 1 month, every 6 months, every 3 months, ganon. Okay. So, but there must be a consult to a breast specialist for examination. So this is similar to the recommendation sa mga when we have a dental problem, we usually go and see our dentist every 6 to 12 months, di ba? For dental check and for oral health eye maintenance. Okay. In the checkup, the cancer patient should tell the breast cancer specialist the symptoms that I mentioned earlier, kung anong nafe-feel nila, anong na-observe nila, which may be suspicious for cancer recurrence. Okay. If none, say none. Okay, so i-volunteer na lang ninyo, no? Kasi kadalasan yung mga doctor, they don't ask, no? Okay, they do physical examination lang, they don't ask yung kung meron kayong nararamdaman, and then kadalasan they do a lot of tests which may not be needed, no? Okay. So kung wala kayong nararamdaman, sabihin lang nyo, wala kayong nararamdaman ng protracted bone pain, abdominal pain, cough, and yung headache. The checkup by the specialist, the minimum examination is the physical examination. So, okay. Laboratory tests are done only when indicated. So kung pumunta kayo sa breast specialist, doesn't mean that there'll be a lot of routine lab to be done. So examinin mo na kayo, titingnan kung may kailangan ng lab test. So meron siyang findings that will make him suspect something at hindi siya sigurado, no, sa findings niya, baka earlier stage pa lumalabas yung cancer recurrence, pwede siya mag-order ng mga lab tests, no? As I said, a lot of cancer patients are not doing these regular checkups. When I say checkups with the doctors, with cancer specialists at planned intervals, that's the reality. So we have to inform the public that you should have a checkup. Kasi this is one way of trying to catch the breast cancer recurrence early enough. So when you say planned intervals, no, it means yung ganong kadalas pagpunta sa breast specialist. And this is to be recommended by the breast cancer specialist. Ang basis nito for the recommendation, yung timing, is based on the degree of risk of recurrence of a particular cancer at the time of the definitive treatment and after so many years in remission. So kung ka-opera lang, usually mas maikli yung interval. Kung medyo, let's say, 1 year, 5 years na walang recurrence, pwedeng mas matagal yung check-up. Let's say once a year. No? So the higher the risk, the more frequent the check-ups. And the longer the years in remission, as I said, kung 20 years na, the less frequent the check-ups. However, the lifetime check-up is still important kasi we don't know. Kahit na 20 years, 30 years na, kung saan may umuulit pa. Now, it may be another new cancer sa the other breast, or it could be recurrence from the original breast cancer. Pero kung 20 years na bihira yung from the original breast cancer, it could be panibagong cancer on the other side. So in breast cancer patients, minimum physician's physical examination for assessment and evaluation for possible recurrence include, number 1, in-inspect ng doktor, tinitingnan through his eyes, okay? And then palpation of the following areas, kinakapa, no? So kinakapa yung dalawang breast or chest areas where the mastectomy was done, no? Kung buo pa yung dalawang breast, kung natanggal ng isang breast, examining pa rin yung chest areas, no, to see if there's a palpable mass, no? And then After the breast, yung armpits, yung axillary area, yung kilikili. Na titingnan kung may kulani, kung may bukol. No? And then, neck nodes, dito sa may above the collarbone, kasi pwedeng mag-recur in that area. Okay? And then, the upper abdomen, kakapain, liver for possible recurrence. So, ito yung mga areas na kinakapa ng doktor. Dapat ginagawa ito ng mga breast specialist to check for possible recurrence. No? In the breast cancer patients, planned intervals for checkup for definitive treatment may have the following guidelines. May have lang ha, ito yung example lang. For stage 3, more frequent than stage 1 and 2 breast cancer. Okay? So mas frequent yung checkups for stage 3 kasi higher risk for recurrence. Kasi more advanced ito, no? Compared to stage 1, stage 2. Now, kung first year after treatment, pwedeng every 2 to 3 months after the wounds have healed. Now, second to the fifth year, pwedeng every 6 months. Kung more than 5 years na siya or to 10 years, pwedeng every year na, 12 months. Kung more than 10 years na, a recommendation could be after 24 months. Pero this can vary from patient to patient. Kamisan, makagusto nila to be para may self-confidence sila sa mga findings sila. They want it more frequent, pwedeng once a year. Okay? Interval schedule can vary depending on the agreement and arrangement by the patients and the physicians. No? So these are just guidelines. Pwedeng mag-iba basta mag-agree lang yung doktor at yung pasyente. Kasi kuminsan baka malayo yung pasyente, yung area, yung residence niya malayo. No? So medyo, let's say, instead of 3 months, baka gawin nila 4 months, no? Or 6 or 5 months, gano'n. No? So a third must-do thing, so things to do after physical examination and clinical examination of the physicians. No? So do the laboratory test only when indicated after physical and clinical examination. So meaning, when you say do only, it means selective lang. Hindi yung routine, hindi lahat gagawin. So it's not a battery of tests. So only when there is a suspicion for a recurrence and the patient needs to be, and the physician needs to be more definitive kasi hindi siya siguradong konti. Kung minsan may mga situations na hindi malinaw yung findings, kaya may konting suspetsa, hindi siya definite, no? So the patient needs to be more definite, more sure that what in his diagnosis, kaya gagawin niya yung laboratory test. Okay? So when you say battery of laboratory tests now for cancer, ang ibig sabihin nito, multiple tests being ordered or done to check for cancer with intent to be comprehensive and to apply the law of eliminations in the interpretation. So usually, yung ginagawa itong laboratory test, yung routine, lahat gagawin, and then let the laboratory test tell you saan ba meron. In contrast to being selective na examinin mo na yung pasyente at kung mayroong areas na may suspicious for cancer, that's where the laboratory test can be done. Nakafocus doon. No? Isa o dalawa lang. Yung battery test, marami yan. So the whole shotgun, tinatawag na shotgun laboratory test. A lot of cancer patients, this is the real fact of life, kung anong nangyayari ngayon. A lot of cancer patients and a lot of physicians are not doing this selective approach in the diagnostic testing. So they are being ritualistic, they just follow the fad kung ano yung uso, or they're being maximalist. So in breast cancer patients, a battery of tests would usually include the following. But when we say battery of tests, no? Example ito, no? So you can have a CT scan of the chest or a times chest X-ray to check recurrence or spread to the lungs. CT scan of the brain to check recurrence or spread to the brain. Bone scan to check recurrence or spread to the bone. Ultrasound of the abdomen and a times CT scan gagawin of the whole abdomen to check recurrence and spread to the liver. Blood chemistry, okay, to check for recurrence or spread to the liver, titingnan yung alkaline phosphatase, no? Then PET scan, ngayon, usong-uso yung PET scan, gagawin nila. PET scan for the whole body. So there are some physicians who are doing all these battery of tests at the same time. PET scan, blood chem, ultrasound abdomen, bone scan, CT scan. So you can imagine how much this will cost. Okay. The selective approach naman, kanina yung battery test, ang gagawin dito is on clinical and physical examination because of protracted headache, masakit ng ulo, so magsususpect yung breast specialist na may spread sa brain. So selective test will include a CT scan, okay, of the brain. Okay. So in this scenario, the battery test is not needed. Okay? If there is no need to determine the extent of recurrence in other parts of the body, kasi wala naman siyang symptoms na protracted pain sa tiyan, cough, wala rin bone pain, so pwedeng hindi na gawin yon. Okay? So management will be the same regardless of the findings in other tests. So selected means kung saan may suspecha, yun lang nakafocus doon, o kung anong gagawing test. Selective. Another example on clinical and physical examination because of the protracted cough. Ubo naman ito, kanina yung brain headache. Ubo naman. So pag ubo, protracted cough, a recurrence spread to the lungs is suspected. So kung gagawa tayong selective test, it will just include a chest x-ray initially. And then kung negative ang findings, kung wala namang problema, wala nang suspecha, then tapos na. Ngayon, kung merong findings sa chest x-ray that will make you, baka may konting doubt sa findings, parang meron, no? You want to be more certain, more definite about the findings, then the breast specialist can order for a CT scan of the chest. Okay. So my recommendations is, and the following will be selective tests, and then the basis for this, there are clinical studies that compare the use of battery tests versus selective test approaches in the breast cancer surveillance. Meron mga studies na rito. Example, this is one study as early as 1994 pa. Results of this trial supports the view that a protocol of frequent laboratory tests and X-ray after primary treatment for breast cancer does not improve survival or influence the health-related quality of life. So routine use of this test should be discouraged. So it does not improve the survival na kung gagawa tayong battery of tests. Another conclusion here will be periodic chest X-ray and bone scan allow earlier detection of distant recurrences. Okay? So pag ginagawa itong mga X-ray frequently, may makikita talaga, no? Okay, kung meron, lalabas ng maaga. But anticipated diagnosis appears to be the only effect of intensive follow-up, and no impact on the prognosis is evident after 5 years. Mamaya kung i-present ko after, let's say, long-term results, kung ano yung difference. So periodic intensive follow-up with chest X-ray and bone scans should not be recommended as a routine policy. So yan ang recommendation dito. So ito yung sa the diagram shows yung upper part without the screening, yung selective test, yung isa naman with battery of test. No? So kung nag-battery of test ka, let's say, nag-test ka, mas madidiscover mo yung kung may recurrence mangyayari, na darating madidetect yung recurrence early enough. So at this point, no? Kung selective lang based on symptoms and signs, dito mo mahuhuli, no? Medyo matagal ng konti, no? Okay. And then, pero if you evaluate yung mga final outcome ng both groups of patients, itong one group of patients nag-undergo ng battery of test, ito selective lang, they usually die at the same time, no? Okay. Kahit na maaga na discover yung breast cancer dito sa recurrence dito sa early screening, they usually die at the same time. So the disadvantage of discovering it early and then dying at the same time, there's a longer mental suffering. No? Okay. So poorer quality of life with this battery of tests. Dito naman sa first one, selective test, no? The advantage of this one is shorter ang mental suffering niya. No? Okay. And then, of course, the other difference is in expense. No? Dito sa battery test, mas malaki ang expense, mahal. No? Okay. So my recommendation is minimalist approach. Number one, symptoms surveillance. And then number two, sign surveillance by the breast specialist. And then do number three only as indicated. So I call it symptom sign-based surveillance and selective diagnostic test as indicated. So this is my recommended approach. Symptoms of patients, what they felt and observed. So there must be regular and monthly at least, and for life, i-check yung sarili nila. Then signs from the physical exam of the physicians, particularly pupunta kayo sa breast cancer specialist, sila ang expert yan. Okay? So they will do regular physical examination at planned intervals and also for life. And then laboratory tests run only as indicated, selective, and not a battery of tests. So itong table na nakuha ko sa ChatGPT, you can see that summarize the symptom-based surveillance and battery test surveillance. Yung approach ito sa symptom-based surveillance, you base it on symptoms and signs. Dito sa battery of test, you base it on routine scheduled tests. Yung maraming laboratory tests. Okay. The test to be done dito sa symptom-based surveillance only if clinically indicated. Kung kailangan, kung may indications. Dito, kahit na walang indications, gagawin. Parang executive check-up style. And then, ang cost dito sa symptom-based, of course, lower. Dito sa battery test, higher. Dito sa anxiety from false positive. Kasi kung maraming test, may malaking risk din mga false positive. Sasabihin meron, pero actually wala. So kung may battery test ka, mataas ang incidence ng false positives, so malaki ang anxiety mo compared to those with symptom-based, no, less. No? Evidence of survival benefits, ito yung pinaka-importante, no? Walang added benefit if you do it symptom-based or battery of test-based. No? So akala natin kung magpapa-routine battery test tayo, may added benefit, wala. No? Okay. As I said, they usually die at the same time, and then more suffering, mental suffering. Okay. So the current guideline stands, current, ha? Okay. Ang recommended is still symptom-based surveillance. Dito sa battery of test, not routinely recommended as of now. Okay? But that's, I think, the last slide for this afternoon's lecture. I have presented the following: what is cancer surveillance? What is breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment? How is breast cancer surveillance being done after definitive treatment? Why is breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment so important that it must be done, and how long? And what are the approaches and guides in the breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment? So takeaway in relation to patient empowerment, be always in touch with reliable medical information on breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment. Knowledge is power, it gives power. Use the 4Ks of patient empowerment, kaalaman, kakayanan, karapatan, kapangyarihan to gain greater control over decisions and make better decisions on the management of breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment as part of your health management. This ends my pep talk today. I hope I have empowered you to have an essential understanding on breast cancer surveillance after definitive treatment as part of your health management. So before we go to the QA, question and answer portion, reminder, please take the online LearningCom evaluation test exercise for Mastery of Learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like the one shown here. I placed the link in the chat box. Another reminder, passing the OLETE and getting 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a RO Hoson medical consultation, either face-to-face or telemedical. Another request, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. So let's now have a group picture taking before we start the QA and interactions. Please turn on your video now. Okay. One, ready? Everyone. One, two, three. Okay. So the floor is now open for questions, comments, recommendations, suggestions, and also consultations, short consultations. So any questions? Who are currently undergoing breast cancer surveillance? May Ann Jose is undergoing breast cancer surveillance. Ellen Veloro. Okay. And then Lorlier. Okay. Diana Montero is going to start cancer surveillance. No, kumpisa lang. Just got operated a month ago. And then Phoebe, no? Okay, has undergone cancer surveillance. Okay. Phoebe, gaano katagal na yung cancer surveillance mo? Ito, 11 years na? Walang voice? Walang sound, Phoebe? Wala. Wala. Phoebe underwent uh, mastectomy kabilaan, bilateral, I think baka 11 years, 11 or 10 years ago. Okay. So, ang surveillance approach niya, wala kami naririnig, Phoebe. Pero sige, habang inaayos mo yan, ikwento ka na lang. Ha? So, we, she has been undergoing breast cancer surveillance using the symptom-based surveillance approach. Okay. So, kinakapa niya sarili niya, minomonitor niya yung symptoms niya, and then every now and then, pupunta siya sa clinic ko, kakapain ko, kung wala akong nakakapa, okay, sasabihin sa kanya, continuous self-monitoring, back for another physical exam, wala akong mga laboratory test na ginagawa sa kanya so far. No? Wala, no? Wala pa. Tama? Sige. Wala, hindi ka namin marinig, hindi ka namin marinig. So, pakiayos na lang yung phone mo. Okay. Si Lordier. Lordier, pakishare nga sa'yo. Ilang years ka na? 5 years? 6 years?
Wala.
Nakailang years ka na? 5 years? 3 years? 4 years?
Wala.
Walang sound? What's
Yes po.
happening to the sound?
Wala.
Wala?
Wala.
Mahina ang sound. Okay. Ellen, let's go. We'll get back to you, Lordier. Ellen, can we
Ay,
hear from you?
Doc,
Oh,
ako,
di ba? 2 years
ang,
na, di ba?
yung, sir, Doc, naririnig nyo?
Yeah, naririnig ka. Okay.
Yes, Doc. Ang surgery ko was done last October 2016. So,
16.
going 9 years.
9 years. Okay.
Yes,
So,
Doc.
anong ginagamit
This
nating
coming
approach?
October.
Anong, gina
Surveillance.
anong klaseng surveillance ginagamit natin?
Yung physical exam, Doc.
Symptom,
Symptom, yes, symptom based and
symptom
then,
sign base. Yan ang
yes,
tawag doon.
Doc.
Ha? Symptom
Okay, Doc.
sign-based surveillance, hindi yung
Hmm,
battery of test, di ba?
Hindi po.
So, hindi kita pinagawa ng CT scan,
No,
wala, no?
Doc.
Bone
Wala po.
scan, wala pa?
Wala pa.
Okay. Okay, ano pa? Ultrasound of abdomen, wala.
Wala din, Doc.
Tumor markers, wala.
Wala.
Okay, so wala akong mga battery of test na ginawa kay Ellen for the past 9 years, no? Ang
Yes,
binabantayan
Doc.
lang natin, yung symptoms na protracted headache, protracted bone pain, protracted abdominal pain, protracted cough. Diba? So, for the past 9 years, wala. No? Okay.
Yes, Doc.
So, masaya kami, wala. No? And
Thank
then,
you,
sa
Doc. Thank
tinakapan
you,
niya,
Doc.
wala rin. So, pumupunta siya sa akin every now and then, no? Nung umpisa, mas madalas, no? Okay.
Yes, Doc.
Ngayon, ngayon, ano na tayo? 6 months?
Every 6 months.
Okay, every 6 months na kami. Okay. So, for 9 years, wala. Okay. So, masaya ka dun sa approach natin.
Oh, yes, Doc.
Kasi kung maraming test, baka magkaroon tayo ng maraming false positive, no? Na false positive, baka false alarms, no? Okay.
Yes po.
Okay?
Thank you, Doc.
Okay. So, Dayan, ikaw. Dayan, bago ka. Dayan
Yes
Montero.
po, Doc.
So, ito rin gagawin ko sa'yo. The same approach. Kung gusto mo ba? Yung ganun lang? O gusto mo yung battery of
Ah,
test?
Siyempre hindi, Doc. Kasi di ba, magastos. So, since na 1 month pa lang ako, pupunta ako sa iyo sa Tuesday, Doc. Kasi parang, yung upper part ko dito, medyo, hindi ko alam kung muscle siya or medyo matigas siya eh. Yung
Okay.
dito kasi sa sugat ko, medyo numb pa siya onte, pero may unting lambot na siya dun sa mismong sugat. Yung part ko dito, dahil gaganon siya yung arm ko, medyo may palpable ako dito nakakapa. Parang feeling ko muscle siya or ano. Pero syempre, papakonsult ko sa iyo.
Okay. Sige. So, yung check, okay. 1 month ago, na-operahan kita. Then ngayon, may follow-up, no? Okay. Ang follow-up nito, it can play two roles, no? One is cancer surveillance, pero bihira yung uulit kagad, no? Okay. O baka pangit ang gawa ng doktor mo, baka may naiwan. Okay. So, but the other one is to check up yung mga takbo ng healing mo, ng wound mo, no? Kung minsan talagang gano'n, may mga symptoms after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, no? So that's part of the check, follow-up. Okay? Pero yung cancer surveillance is parang we're looking for recurrence, no? We will be looking for recurrence, no? Okay. So usually by this time, wala pa yan, na? Okay. Okay.
Ano, Doc, kunwari, di ba 1 month pa lang ako, may possible ba yan, Doc, na kung 1 month ka pa lang or 2 months or either 3 months ka after ng surgery mo, pwede na ba mag-reoccur yun?
Pwede. Theoretically,
Talaga?
so sabi ko nga sa iyo, nobody can predict what will happen. Yan ang fact of
In
life.
my case, gaya nito, Doc, 1 month pa lang ako, parang medyo makapal yung upper side dito, yung dito na siya banda. Medyo makapal siya pag ganyan ko siya. Pag ganyan ko siya, medyo makapal siya. Pag ganun siya, hindi siya masyado. So, possible ba may ganon?
Possible may nararamdaman, pero kung anong reason? Ang reason could be baka side effect ng operasyon mo, not the cancer. Na? Okay. Kung may nakakapa ka bang bukol? Yan ang tanong. Iba yung kapal, iba yung bukol. Okay? Yung makapal lang, hindi bukol, mga side effect lang ng mga operasyon mo. Na? Okay.
Actually, makapal lang siya, Dok. Hindi siya bukol.
Okay, good. Yan nga. Yan ang ina-expect ko. Okay?
Okay.
So, pero i-check ko rin, no? Kasi
Yes po.
nobody can be certain about the findings until na ma-examine ng isang breast specialist, no? Okay. So, ako ang gagawa noon, no? Okay? Okay. So, importante yon, no? So,
Sige po, Doc.
ang cancer surveillance dapat, okay, a word of advice, ang cancer surveillance, sinong gagawa? Kasi may dalawang oncologist ang gumagamit, tatlo actually. May tatlong oncologist na pwedeng gumamot sa mga breast cancer. Number one, you have the surgical oncologist, breast cancer surgical oncologist. You can also have a medical onco, yung nagbibigay ng chemo palagi, no? Or you can have radiation oncologist. When you say radiation oncologist, yung nagra-radiate, yung bibigay ng radiotherapy, no? So, sino ang pinaka-the best person to do the cancer surveillance sa palagay ninyo?
Feeling ko yung ano, Doc, yung oncologist na sa breast.
Sino? Tatlo nga, tatlong klase. Sa ngayon, may breast cancer, may surgical oncologist, yung nag-opera at nagpa-follow up, ayun, ano. The other one is medical oncologist, yung nagkikimo, yung pinaka-main job nila, chemo. Yung radiation oncologist, yung main job nila to nagbibigay ng radiotherapy. Okay. Sino sa palagay ninyo ang the best person to do the follow-up surveillance? Can I have survey?
Yung surgical,
Surgical oncologist.
Surgical, bakit?
siya yung nakakakita po, Doc, ng ano, ng kinuha niya.
And then, okay. Pero tapos na eh. After that, if you follow up, check for recurrence kung meron kayong mga distant recurrence, ganon. Hindi
Sa
medical
surgical
onco.
ko, kasi pwede din siyang surveillance ng ano mo, Doc, ng after na ng ano, ng operation.
Yeah, surveillance. So, hindi, pwedeng gawin itong tatlong na doktor na specialist, no? Ang sinasabi ko, pwedeng gawin nila, no? Pero who will be in the better position? Best position? Sinong wala sa inyo kasi nag-undergo ng chemotherapy, no? Okay. Si Lorly. Lorly, ikaw nag-chemo ka? Nag-chemo ka ba?
Opo, Dok.
Okay. So, ikaw, sige, anong opinion mo? Who will be the best person to do the follow-up for you?
Si Doc nung nasa SG po ko, purely after the operation, yung oncologist ko na po eh. Bali, once a year lang po yung surgeon.
Okay.
Kasi meron po silang, ewan ko ng tawag doon eh, may sinusukat sila. Ewan ko, kalimutan ko po yung tawag doon eh. Kaya yun, natitrace po niya kung may recurrence po. Hindi ko
Ah,
lang po alam dito sa Pinas kung ganun
ano
din.
yung sinusukat niya?
May sinusukat po siya, hindi ko pa alam ang tawag doon eh. Meron po silang ginagamit doon.
May laboratory test?
Pa?
May laboratory test?
Hindi po eh. Meron silang sinusukat na
Baka yung bukol?
parang injection ng itsura. Ewan ko ang tawag nila sa ganun po. Pero hindi tinutusok po yun. Ewan ko
Hindi
anong
ko
tawag.
alam.
Kalimutan ko yung tinatawag po dun eh. Tapos pagkatapos po nun, after 6 months yata yung surgeon naman. Pero ang parati nag-check po sa akin si oncologist.
Medical onco.
Tapos si Dr. Lynette Ngo.
So, nung andun ka,
Opo. Bihira lang po yung surgeon.
surgical onco.
Opo. Every 2 months yata po, every month po yun. After the operation. Kailangan, ganun daw po kasi sa kanila eh.
Pero, gaano katagal yung chemo mo?
6 months yata
Okay.
po.
After 6 months, siya pa rin.
Ano po, wala na po, wala na po. Yung ano na lang po, pinainom sa akin gamot po, hindi ko na maalala po rin yung gamot.
So after 6 months, sino nagpa-follow up sa'yo?
Sinecheck po ako ng simultaneous po si onco tsaka si surgeon.
Okay, simultaneous after the
Opo.
chemo.
Opo.
Nag-radiotherapy ka ba?
Ay, hindi po.
Okay,
Hindi daw po
so
kailangan eh.
operation and then chemotherapy. So after the chemo, dalawa ang sabay, no?
Opo,
Sabay yung
opo.
medical onco at surgical
Surgeon,
onco.
opo.
Okay, that's good. Pwede yon, no? Okay.
Opo.
Para
Hindi ko lang po alam kung
mag-complete.
anong practice po dito sa Pinas.
Ikakwento natin mamaya. Okay.
Okay po.
Okay. So, mag, Lord Lear, ano yung experience mo? Lorly? Si Lorly kasi nag-undergo ng radiotherapy, nag-undergo ng chemo, surgery of course. Okay. Anong experience mo, Lorly? After the surgery, napunta ka sa PGH for chemo, no? Anong sabi sa iyo doon? Nag-radio ka pa, di ba? Nag-radiotherapy ka. Lorly? Hindi makapasok si Lorly. So si Lorly nag-radiotherapy. Then after that, nasa akin na siya. Bumalik na siya sa akin. No? So ako nag-check up sa kanya. No? Tama? Hindi Okay. So ang practice dito, number one, to answer your question, Mayan, ang practice dito, after the operation, pag pinasa sa medical onco, usually medical onco na. No? Okay. So,
Ah,
usually, ha? Okay.
opo.
So, I don't know for what reason, no? Baka, baka sabi ng, kasi ang question nito, who is really the breast specialist? Di ba? Yung tanong, kung sinabi natin ang breast specialist is the surgeon, dapat siya ang pinaka overall na coordinator, no? Pinaka head, no? Kung
Opo.
sinabi natin medical oncologist ang pinaka main specialist, okay na kung sa medical onco. Pero usually ang nangyayari sa Pilipinas as well as abroad, operasyon ang surgeon muna ang tumitingin. I mean, yeah, surgeon unang tumitingin, binabiopsy, and then kung cancer, inooperahan, di ba? Then after that,
Opo.
i-refer i-refer sa medical onco kung kailangan magpa-chemotherapy. And then after that, kung kailangan magpa-radiotherapy, i-refer sa radiation oncologist, no? Okay. So strictly speaking, dapat bumalik dun sa yung surveillance na, yung long term, no? It's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years after the chemo, after the radiation, dapat yung breast specialist na titingin, usually the surgeon, di ba? Okay. Pero kadalasan, hindi nangyayari yon. Ang ginagawa ng mga doktor dito sa Pilipinas, pinapasa na dun sa medical onco. No? Bihira rin ng radiation
Um,
oncologist na tumitingin. Ang interest ng radiation oncologist, yung ginawa lang nila, na okay, kung nag-radiate sila, titingnan nila kung anong results, gano'n. After that, wala na silang long-term follow-up. At palagi ko nire-recognize din nila kasi na ang mas in a position to do the comprehensive checkup will be either the surgeon or the medical oncologist. Na? Okay. So, pero sa practice ko, I would like to see my patients. I would like to be the one monitoring. No? Okay. So, ang monitoring approach ko iba. Okay. Pagpunta kayo sa ibang medical oncology, iba rin ang surveillance approach nila. Usually battery of test sila. Na? Okay. Okay. Nasagot ko ba yung tanong mo, Mian?
Opo, Dok. Dok, ask ko lang po kung dito ba sa Pinas merong mga training after nung ganyang operation.
Training ng ano?
Kasi doon po sa Raffles, after my operation, every 3 weeks, meron kaming training po doon na 2 hours. I-demo sa amin yung mga ginawa, tapos mga maglalagay ng wig, yung mga prosthesis, yung ganun po. 6 months po yun. Hindi ko po alam
Wig.
kung ganun din dito sa atin.
Post-op care na yon. Yung mga wig, yung mga ganon.
Opo, yung ganun po.
Okay,
Saan
mga post-op care
magbibili?
yun. Oo, post-op care, kasi kung meron silang breast cancer center, no, support center, yan, tuturuan kayo, no?
Opo.
Kung wala
Opo.
naman, kung wala naman, pwede naman yung surgeon, pwede naman yung medical onco, no? Kung walang breast cancer center. Ang ginagawa ko dati yun no?
Ah,
Tinuturuan ko yung mga pasyente kung anong prosthesis ang gagamitin. Yung iba, no? Sinasuggest ko, mag-improvise na lang sila, no? Yung iba naman, gusto nila yung mga silicone, no? Ganon, no? Okay. And then, mga wig. Yan,
opo.
wig. Tinuturuan ko ba yung wig?
Doon po pinag-wig po kami. Kasi kinalbo po kasi ko eh.
O kaya nga, tinuturuan po ba kung anong gusto mong klaseng wig na sa iyo? Di ba?
Doon po kasi tinuro, doon sa kanila merong murang bilihan. Kasi sa kanila daw binibili ng ng Raffles yung Yung
Okay. So,
mismong, nagbibenta mismo
nagtitinda,
po sila.
nagtitinda sila.
Opo.
Okay. So, dito naman sa atin, wala namang so far, wala pang gumagawa ng formal business
Ah,
dyan. Ako, sinasabi ko sa mga pasyente ko, yung kapatid ko, yung may breast cancer, sabi ko, kung gusto mo mag-wig, mag-wig ka, maghanap ka. Yung isang wig, nag-donate na nga siya ng isang wig after the chemo na hindi na niya kailangan. So
ah,
yung wig hindi na pwede hindi na turuan, basta bahala na kayo, marunong na kayong pumili di ba? Yung mga babae. So ano klaseng wig, no? Yung sa breast pa, prosthesis, mga ganon. Pwedeng
opo.
improvise, pwedeng silicone, no? Okay.
Doon po talagang isa lang ang tinuturo nila yung mga po sa Rapo. Sa can care naman, kung saan nabibili, kinukunan
Yeah,
ng Rapples.
yeah.
Yung mga kung sa'yo Dok, style o strategy lang, yung parang mas maganda yung yung halimbawa,
Sino
pag
nagsasalita?
maganda yung marketing, kung papipiliin kasi kayo kung paano kayo mag-lecture kung halimbawa yung online, mas maganda Dok yung yung halimbawa, physical. O yung
Who's
physical.
that? Ray Benjamin.
Kami pumupunta kasi ganun yung ginawa ng Paragabe. Parang
Nagsasalita.
pag nag-lecture siya sa labas, lahat ng
Hello.
audience doon kadalasan na binibigyan mo kasi ng request. Oo. Nagbibigay ng request.
On
Tapos,
yung mic niya
pag
kanina.
bumabalik dito, parang automatic siya na yung attending physician.
Ray,
Ko lang ma-concern. Sige. Kasi sa mga nag-start, yun.
off mo yung mo, Ray Benjamin.
Sige po. Kilala ko pala ng paraan.
Nasabay kami sa PGH. Sige po.
Sige daw.
Oh,
Pag naman ito, pag halimbawa, pag mga
Ray.
ganito, kung sino naman yung walk-in ng
Uy. Ray Benjamin.
Okay na po, Doc. Naka-on yung mic niya kanina.
Magsasalita ka
Hello,
ba?
sorry. Sorry, ano po?
Magsasalita ka ba?
Nasa clinic ako, sorry.
Kaya nga, magsasalita ka, kaya ka naka-on. Sabatin mo
Ay,
yung Kimean, galing ka lang Singapore, di ba? Ano ba yung practice niya
yung sa med-onco sa surgeon,
anong practice sa Singapore?
palitan, alternate, surgeon tsaka med-onco.
Yung sa center ninyo.
Tsaka parang,
Ikaw,
ginagawa din sa iba na yung follow-up ay alternating, surgeon tsaka med-onco po. Kung may chemo at kung may med-onco on board. Pero kung walang med-onco referral, surgeon na lahat.
okay. So, yeah, understandable naman kung wala namang medical onco na kasama, surgeon dapat, no?
Mm.
Okay.
Pero kung may referral
Pero,
siya sa medical onco, alternate yung follow-up sa surgeon at sa medical onco.
okay. So, medyo magulo lang kasi dito kasi kung walang
Mm.
usually yung mga after surgery, yung ginagawain sa Pilipinas, ni-refer sa medical onco for opinion kung kailangan magpa-chemo o di ba? Okay. So after that, usually, kadalasan, they ended up with a chemo or medical onco. So medical onco na humahawak, no? Yan ang trend ngayon, no? Okay. So yung surgeon, they give up, no? Parang binigay na sa medical onco, bahala ng medical onco, no? Okay. Ganun yan, no? Dito sa Pilipinas, no? Pero
Opo.
ang practice ko, okay, kung ni-refer kita sa medical onco, okay, kung kahit na magpa-chemo ka, ini-insist ko na bumalik ka sa akin. I-check up kita. Nakabalik ka sa akin. Na ako mag-take care of you. No? Okay. So, hindi kita papabayaan. No? Ganon. No? Kaya tayo meron, kaya nga tayo nagkaroon ng Cancer Crusaders Club. No? Kung wala ang ganung check-up, wala tayong Cancer Crusaders Club. Di ba? Lahat pupunta sa medical onco. Di ba? Okay. Ako mo?
Opo.
Yeah.
Ang ko lang intindihan.
Mm. So yun sa akin, ako nagpa-follow up until gina-guide ko yung mga pasyente up to the last. No? So, saka yung sinasabi ko sa mga pasyente, balik kayo sa akin para maano kayo, ma, ma-avail nyo yung surveillance also. Kasi ako, kumakapa ako no? So, I am in the better position to make kapa. Diba? Compared to medical onco. No? Okay. So, ganon. Okay. Lordier, pwede ka na sumali? Wala pa.
Dok, may tanong pala po ako.
Sige.
Dok, yung natural po ba yun, yung after your chemo, nagsusuka ka?
Expected
Kasi ako
naman.
naalala ko dati, suka ako ng suka eh.
After, you mean long after the chemo?
Opo. Nagsusuka na po kaya nandun na ako kaagad sa toilet
Hindi,
nung
let's
ano,
say pag
nagsusuka.
nabigyan ka ng chemo, ang possible side effect nun is nausea, vomiting right after. Kaya binibigyan ka ng mga gamot na panlaban dyan. No? Yung mga metoclopramide, yung pinakamura, yung iba naman, ondansetron, yung pinakamahal, yung mga ganon. Binibigyan kayo noon. Kumisan, may steroids pa. No? Okay. Okay. So after the
Wala
chemo,
pong ganang kumain.
yan ang side effects ng chemo. Okay.
Natural
Side
pala
effects
yun.
ng chemo. Nakaraos ka na, okay na yan.
Naalala ko lang po kaya ayoko nang balikan yun.
Oo.
Ang
Okay?
hirap.
Sige. Okay. So, tandaan na
Thank you
lang
po,
ninyo.
Doc.
Sige, welcome. So, tandaan na lang niyo the two types of surveillance, symptom-based, symptom sign-based surveillance at battery test. Between the two, mas maganda pa rin yung symptom-based battery test. Symptom-based surveillance. Pero nasa sa inyo, if you feel like you want to have a test, nobody will stop you. No? Okay. Pero my personal practice, symptom-based surveillance, symptom sign-based surveillance, yung symptom ko may kasamang education on what to look at, what to monitor, yung mga alert symptoms, and also asking you to do your breast self-exam. Importante yon, na? Okay? So, okay. May ibang tanong pa ba? Kung wala nang tanong, we call it a day. It's already 3:15, no? Okay. Thank you for all your questions and your sharing, no? Okay. So we'll see
Thank
each
you,
other
Doc.
next week, no? Okay. Next Saturday ulit, no? Okay. I don't know what topic pa, no? Okay. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you po, Doc. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Doc. Bye.
Bye-bye.